Welcome to Let the Quran Speak. We're seeing a lot of death and devastation in Palestine and in particular in Gaza. And the question inevitably arises, why doesn't God intervene? Why doesn't God do something to stop all of this suffering? Here with me is Dr. Shabir. Dr. Shabir, welcome back.
Pleasure to be on.
So the question, Dr. Shabir, that people generally ask is, where is God in all this? Is God watching, and is God aware of what's going on?
Yeah, so the simple answer, obviously, from a point of view of faith is yes, God is aware and God knows what is going on, but he allows what happens for his own good reasons. And there could be many good reasons why God permits things as they are. One simple and underlying reason is that God could control everything, like he could micromanage if he wants to. But he doesn't want to. He leaves a lot of the micromanagement to his creatures.
Right.
And human beings being among those creatures, having the free will, we can inflict harm on others or we can perform acts of benefit to others. It's our choice. Now, if God intervenes every time somebody wants to harm somebody else, then that supposed freedom of choice that we have will no longer be really a freedom of choice, because we would never be free to act in a wrong way. Mm-hmm. We would always be doing what is right, even if we are inclined to do something wrong. And if we are inclined to do something wrong, but God does not allow us to carry out that inclination, then it defeats the whole purpose of giving that freedom of will. And so God, for his own good reasons, has given human beings in particular freedom of choice, freedom of will, the ability to either benefit or harm others, and he preserves that right. But of course, he is judging us, and that's part of his whole grand plan, that he is creating such creatures who will deliberately choose to love him. And if we are to deliberately choose to love him, that means we must also have the ability to not love him, the opposite. And so part of that love of God is the love of humanity and caring for humanity. Part of turning away from God would be turning away from humanity, and of course, to the other extreme, even harming our fellow human beings. And God preserves all of that. But of course, he judges us in the life hereafter and either rewards or punishes based on the choices that we have exercised in this life. So it's part of his grand plan to allow this to happen. And, he's only going to allow it to a certain extent, because there's only so much that even he himself will tolerate. And as we see the rising death tolls, the destruction of the land and property, and so on, we know that God will intervene and he will bring an end to it. But in the meantime, he could be testing us to see how much patience we will have in this difficult situation.
Mm-hmm. I guess when we think of tests, we think of the people of Palestine experiencing those tests, but we are also being tested, the ones who are sitting in our comfortable living rooms, in our comfortable homes, walking around, working and living as normal. What are we doing, and what kind of actions are we taking? And not just us, but world leaders, what are they doing? So I guess God is testing them as well.
Yes, we're all being tested, and the response to that test is what God is going to either reward us for or blame us for. So if we are patient in the face of adversity, then we are rewarded. If we do something illegal, unlawful, inhumane as a result of the test, then we have failed the test. We may feel good. If somebody hurts us and we feel enraged and we hurt that person back even more, then we have gone beyond bounds. We have transgressed limits. And this is what the Quran is always telling us: do not transgress limits. You can be patient, you can forgive, or if you need to claim your right, you can take what has been taken away from you. You can, if you are to, retaliate, then it is to the extent of the harm that is done to you, but to forgive is better. We know that the Old Testament says an eye for an eye, and Jesus, on whom be peace, is said in the New Testament to have prescribed if somebody slaps you on one cheek, turn the other cheek to them also. And the Quran takes an in-between position, saying, yes, you can retaliate up to the extent of the harm done to you, but you're not to go beyond that. That would be transgression. But to forgive is better. So it's a combination of the eye for eye and the turning the other cheek, somewhere in
that's
between
interesting.
that.
I didn't
Yes.
think of it that way.
The Quran shows us that we are actually being tested, and our response to the harm that is inflicted on us is what we will be rewarded or penalized for. And may I add here a side note that the people of Israel were tested on October 7th when they were attacked, and how they respond, that is also to be judged. Is their response, is this an eye for an eye response, or is it like 100 eyes for one eye as a response? Is it a proportionate response? Is it reasonable? Was it a calculated response to really root out the enemy, or was it a response that says, okay, we know that the enemy is shielded by civilians, and to get to the enemy we'll have to first decimate the civilian population, but we're prepared to do that. So is that what is at stake here? So all of these will be questioned about. People will have to answer for their crimes, if not in a court of international law here in this world, and then in the absolute and global court in God's domain in the life hereafter. The Quran reminds us that God is Maliki Yawmiddin. He is the owner of the day of judgment. Muslims are dreadful of that day. They are fearful of that day. That day is dreadful. And Muslims want to also alert their neighbors and friends to be aware of that day. We might get away with things in this life, but you can't get away with things in the ultimate judgment court of God. So in a nutshell, Sophia, I have rambled a bit, but there's several good reasons why God would allow this kind of suffering that we're seeing now, bad as it is, terrible as it is, and we pray for it to come to an end. One is that God has given human beings the freedom to harm others. Sometimes he allows that to go on to a certain extent, but he'll bring the perpetrators to justice eventually, either in this life or accountability in the life hereafter. Two, he's testing the believers and others. Three, a lot of good may actually come out of the harm, and we don't see the good, and it seems even callous now to be speaking of the possibility that good will come out of this utter devastation. Like when we see the images of devastation in Gaza, it's hard to even imagine a future that could be bright. But despite the dystopian mess that we see now, there is hope that God will bring about out of that mess. As the phoenix rises from the ashes, God will bring about something that is good, and we will behold, even in our lifetimes, and we pray for that.
Thank you for that, Dr. Shabir.
Pleasure.
Assalamu alaikum.
We have some exciting news to share with you.
As you know, Let the Quran Speak has been on TV screens and social media for 22 years.
We've been reaching people all around the world, spreading positivity and good, and helping people experience the beauty of Islam and the accomplishments of Muslims.
We've been shooting in this very space for the past 2 decades.
And now, with the help of Allah, we're about to get the keys to Muslim Media Hub.
If you like what we're doing, you're gonna love Muslim Media Hub even more.
Because it's the next step up.
Think new TV shows, podcasts, social media content, and film.
We'll have new talent, more youth, and a lot more space and resources to do what we love. Spread the message of Allah.
Our Muslim Media Hub costs $2.4 million.
And for that, we need to raise $300,000. Please give whatever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help establish Muslim Media Hub so we can do this.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be of benefit to the Muslim community long after we are gone.
Thank you, and may Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always.
Assalamu alaikum.